Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, Sigval here, and welcome back to another video. In this one, we're going to explore the concept of how many gems you can actually make in 1 week while being free to play and not paying any money. I'm gonna use two values here. First of all, the highest value, so we can try and figure out what is the total possible amount, more or less, because there's some variation, but we'll get into that later. And at the same time, we're going to also add another metric that we measure things by, which is reasonable metric. Because while you can get a lot of gems and you can do a lot of stuff in this game, it's only reasonable to ask players to play for a specific amount of time that's not like 10 hours. So while we're going to calculate the total amount, we're also going to have a different metric called the reasonable amount. A few rules for this: we're going to not count soul raid normal gems. When a new soul raid is released, you're going to get gems from normal. Those are not going to be a daily occurrence or something that happens repeatedly. I mean, it happens repeatedly because they release more soul raids, but it's not often enough for this to count. Will not count event gems, like when you go in the store and in some special offers, it's Halloween, they gave you a bundle with 500 gems. Again, not gonna count that. Not gonna count the Injustice Pass. You do get a few gems from the Injustice Pass, but it's not gonna come every month, and you get so much more from the pay-to-win side of things from it anyway. And I'm not gonna count achievements or offer, although I'm gonna count the dailies. So yeah, with that being said, let's get into it. So first up, we're gonna get the most simple thing out of the way. The thing that everybody's gonna get just by playing the game is the daily gems. You're gonna get 30 from here. And then you're gonna get 30 from playing a soul raid fight, which is not a thing that's too hard to do. And most people who log into this game are going to play their soul raid fights. So for both calculations, both the average grind and the hardcore grind, we're going to get 60 gems per day, which means 420 gems a week. So that's the number you're getting for basically doing the very, very bare minimum. Okay, so with the operations, it's a little bit of a complicated matter, and the matter that depends on luck and on how many times you're willing to log into the game. Now, of course, the best yield of gems from this is going to be logging in every 20 minutes to just keep refreshing that on the lowest duration, but I'm not gonna do that myself, and I don't necessarily advise you guys to do that, because it's just too bothersome. What I personally do with this is that I set my operations to the one that's initially 4 hours, but with the reduction with the operation levels gets all the way down to like 2.5 hours or something like that. I just leave this on, and every single time I see the pop-up when I just randomly log into the game, I collect them. I don't collect them every 2.5 hours. Let's say I collect them 2 to 3 times a day. And by collecting them 2 to 3 times a day, I'm going to on average get from this 100. And that's going to be kind of the amount we're going for the bare minimum. With the, let's say, harder grind, again, it's too unreliable to attribute to this a high value, and I don't expect you guys to log in every single 24 minutes. So let's just go with the 200s per day value for this, which means 1,400 per week. I'm just explaining how I did the calculation. I'm going to tell you the total amounts that we get at the end, so no worry about that. Arena season rewards are a place where we're gonna get a lot of gems. This is gonna be kind of the main spot to farm gems for most people, and this is gonna be very, very different from person to person, because you might have your account in a very hard arena, and actually getting the maximum amount of gems is gonna require a lot of grinds. And then I've seen people that are in an arena that is so easy that they can just play 3 fights a day with their best teams and be legendary. On my main account, I'm kind of in the first category, where to get legendary rank, I need to play around 300 fights per season or something like that, or more than 300. But yeah, it's quite bad. Actually, I think far more than 300 fights. But I'm going to attribute the minimal value to Elite 4, because look, listen, even if you're not actively hitting Elite 4, this is the bare minimum you should be aiming for, especially as a new player, to get yourself the character at 4 stars. So as a bare minimum, I'm gonna set Elite 4. I know a lot of people are not gonna reach Elite 4, but you eventually will. This is a goal that you should set yourself. Elite 4 should be the bare minimum you reach. And that maximum will put the 1000 gems. Like, I consider my arena personally to be one of the hardest arenas in Injustice 2 Mobile, just because of how much the people in this arena are grinding. I mean, this is quite tame. I didn't play this arena, by the way, as you can see, but top 50 for 72 million points is quite tame. I have seen far worse in this arena. But yeah, those are the values that we're going for. Let's move on. Champions Arena is a mode that I disregarded in the past because they were just not releasing gold characters, so the shards that we were getting were useless. But boy, you should not be sleeping on CA because CA is gonna give you a lot of gems. Honestly, I think Apprentice is a safe place to stay without having to play too much and put too much work into it, though you could do better. Though we're going to use the Apprentice tier for this specific video for the reasonable amount of grinds tier. Now for the lots of grind here, we're actually going to use the biggest tier, which is this one, with 1,800 gems per week. And this is no further calculation needed here, because you're just getting this once a week, so it's gonna be just the flat amount, 750 for the reasonable grind, as we called it. So yeah, let's move on to the next thing. Now, there's something we can do here. I said only free-to-play stuff, and we're not touching this. We're not touching the offer wall. But this thing here is gonna give you 5 gems 10 times a day for watching an ad. Now, you're not gonna sit there on your phone and watch that ad to get those 5 gems. Those are 30 seconds of your life that you're never getting back. But definitely do this while you're doing something else, while you're watching TV, while you're playing on the PC. I don't know when, while you're playing with your cat, for as far as I care. Just don't just watch those ads. That's not good for your brain. It's not a good use for time. But if you can just press this button and press another button and press this button again while you're doing another activity, those 50 gems a day will definitely pile up. And you're going to get a total of, out of this thing alone, 350 gems a week for basically doing nothing. And you should be doing this as doing nothing. Just don't actively watch the ads. But yeah, let's move on to the next thing. And the last thing on this list is going to be basically the rewards here. And this still classifies as getting all the rewards for both tiers, because even for the reasonable grind, if you can't log in one certain day, or if you miss multiple days, you're going to be able to watch an ad every single day to kind of get that day back. So you're going to, one way or another, kind of get all the rewards that are in here. And there is a total of 400 gems a month in this. Now, if I made a calculation and I do the math, because I did it, you're gonna get 90.5 numbers a week. So let's just call it 90 gems per week out of this one. So now every single way of the game to give you gems, or for you to get them, is kind of laid down before us without spending any money. If you spend money, you're gonna get a lot of more gems. But let's make the final calculations. So the total amount, first of all, for the average grind, which I think can definitely be accomplished by playing the game for 2 to 3 hours a day. Now, it depends on you if this is a lot or not. It depends on you if this is the main means of relaxation, but for playing to 2 to 3 hours a day and not really sweating too much about it, I think you can easily grind, and even less than that actually, I think you can easily grind 3,110 gems. Why this odd number is just simply all the values that we have added so far into this. So for 2 to 3 hours a day of playtime, you're going to get 3,110 gems a week. Now, if you want to go hardcore modes and you want to get the best you can out of everything, and keep in mind this number can be inflated because I went really easy with the operations, because I think it's simply not a fun thing to do, just log into the game to reset that and log back out, and it develops a bad habit. So you can get more than this if you're really sweaty about it, but I wouldn't recommend it. You can get 6,060 gems per week. In order to accomplish all the things that I mentioned, getting the highest tier in Champions Arena, getting the highest rank in Arena, it depends on how hard your arena is a bit, because that's going to increase or decrease the required playtime, but I think this is achievable in 4 to 5 hours of playtime a day, and that's a lot. That's a lot. So you might be able to do it in less, but that's a lot of playtime. But if you really enjoy the game and this is your main means of entertainment, I don't know, it can be done. But yeah, all that being said, thank you so much for watching. Like the if you liked it, dislike the video, disliked it, subscribe for more content like this. I'll hopefully see you all in the next one. Goodbye.
This is the future.